let's get to this sound. Senator Chris Murphy is actually emerging as a very effective voice for the Democrats. And he tweeted out a little over a week ago, he said, give 90% attention to what Republicans are doing with healthcare and 10% on Russia. That's exactly right. Maybe now we need to increase it to 95%. Russia's an important organized crime story, money laundering story, and if it hurts the Trump administration's approval ratings, great. But obviously it's not as remotely as important as tens of millions of people losing their health insurance. And this is Chris Murphy this morning. He was on Morning Joe talking with one Willie Geist. And he actually is taking this critique a step further. He now sounds like some people that tweet at me.
You know, Senator Harold Ford was talking a little bit earlier about what Democrats need to do to win elections in states like Georgia and places across the South and the Midwest. It's kind of reflective of the conversation we had after the presidential election back in November, which is that the progressive wing of the Democratic Party said we need to be more progressive. And we heard that last night and again this morning from groups like MoveOn.org. The lesson was that John Ossoff was too moderate. Do you think running for office right now in this climate as a Democrat means you ought to be more progressive or more moderate?
I think what it means is the Democrats have to be hyper-focused on an economic message that tells people that the Republican Party is all about economic growth for millionaires and billionaires, and the Democratic Party is about economic growth for everybody. And I think Robert Costa is right. The fact that we have spent so much time talking about Russia has been a distraction from what should be the clear contrast between Democrats and the Trump agenda, which is on economics. You know, when I'm back in Connecticut, I often get on a commuter bus and ride it for just an hour to talk to folks, that frankly don't normally call my office or write my office. And I'll just say they are never talking about issues like Russia. They are not talking, frankly, about what's on cable news at night. They are talking about the same things: wages. They're talking about education. They're talking about public safety. And so I think Democrats have to be hyper-focused on an economic contrast. And I think this.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. And look, this bill, the Senate bill, which they are calling the Better Care and Reconciliation Act of 2017, which has, of course, been planned in secret, no Democratic input, handful of white male senators from rural states. It was briefed apparently to healthcare lobbyists. What it will do is it has deeper long-term Medicaid cuts than the House version. It eliminates a bulk of the Affordable Care Act's taxes and offers tax credits for individuals in the insurance plans that are technically more generous than the House version. But overall, this is, especially when you look at the targeting of Medicaid, this is a massive attack, again, on tens of millions of people. It will reduce care overall. And the point is, as Sam always outlines, is that you can't do the tax giveaways for the rich that they want without devastating the social safety net. And Obamacare, for as centrist and as moderate as it was something of an expansion of the social safety net. So it needs to be destroyed. The way that connects with Ossoff, there's progressive and there's moderate, or centrist, or whatever, center-right. But the other problem with Ossoff was that by the end of the campaign, he wasn't talking about anything. I mean, it's one thing to run an Obama Clinton centrist campaign. If you ran an Obama Clinton centrist campaign, then you would say that this crazy woman I'm running against wants to destroy the gains that we have made within the free market healthcare system.
Hillary hugged Obama and she outperformed Ossoff. Or Obamacare, I mean.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So if you want to run a centrist campaign, say that I support patient protections and rights, and I want to ensure that your kid can stay on your plan. I want to ensure that pre-existing conditions are covered. And I do think in a sensible way, or whatever way you want to put it in brackets, we need to have a growth in wages so that the economy works for everybody. You can put all of it in tepid, boring, third-way terminology you want, but still actually run on something. That's something worth looking. I would actually give advice to the third-rate types where it's still relevant, and it might be relevant in an upscale district in Georgia. Look at campaigns that Barack Obama ran. Look at campaigns that Bill Clinton ran. Look at campaigns that Tony Blair ran, frankly. Center-right campaigns, a lot of verbiage, but they actually had pretty robust policy agendas at certain points. Not the policy agenda that I support, I want real progressive reform. But they actually were talking about something. So the failing of Ossoff wasn't just that he was, to the center. That might have been the right pitch for that district. It was that by the end, he vaguely was complaining about the deficit. And then we have a campaign which, goes back to like, I asked Sam about this, like 2004 style campaigns where a Democrat's like, hey, I think we ought to work together across the aisle to cut wasteful spending. And the Republicans like, you're an Al-Qaeda operative from San Francisco. And that is never going to work. That and now it's on the table. Even with all of the pressure, even with all of the danger in different districts, the town hall meetings, which they're going to shut down on, Republicans are ready to do this and be really clear. Murkowski, she votes for it. She's lying about Planned Parenthood. Portman's lying about Medicaid expansion if he votes for it. People like McCain who posture in public and care about a transparent process, just like Chris Murphy said yesterday. They're shedding crocodile tears. They're lying. They love that this is secret and opaque. And this is the game. They need to put your life in jeopardy and probably cause tens of thousands of premature deaths to subsidize a tax cut. That's the purpose of Republican politics. And frankly, you don't have to be all that much to the left to, at the very least, not be a predator or sociopath and run clearly on that. As Tom Perez would say, they don't give a shit. And he's right.
Hi, folks. Sam Seder here. We still need your help on our Patreon page. YouTube ads have come back, but not nearly as much as we had before. So if you can help us out, any little bit helps. Head over to our Patreon page right at this URL, and you'll help us keep helping you by making videos